From a demolition crew in Germany that accidentally crushed the foreman's van, and a crane operator who should have double-checked his math, to a row of shipping containers in Los Angeles that collapsed like dominoes, and much more. Here are the most ridiculous worker mistakes caught on camera. When you hire a demolition crew, they don't just show up and knock something over. Lots of math and careful planning goes into safely and effectively tearing down a structure. The most important piece is getting the tower or building or whatever to fall in the right direction. Even 1 decimal point can lead to catastrophe. On May 22nd of 2013, a German demolition crew was tasked with taking down an old smokestack. First, they cut part of the tower so the smokestack would fall into the empty parking lot. Then, they rigged some steel cables to the top and began pulling. Little did they know this smokestack had a mind of its own.
Egal, was der sein LKW dann hier macht.
Ja, der ist ja da in der Problem. Und der Auto fällt auf.
Glückwunsch.
Hast du es drauf?
Ja, gefilmt.
In a funny twist of fate, the crushed van belonged to the crew's foreman. Seeing how he was in charge, it wouldn't be totally wrong to say the accident was his fault. Hopefully, nobody lost their job that day. Your typical excavator can weigh anywhere between 19 and 24 tons. Some are as small as 10 tons, while others get as heavy as 45 tons. It depends on what they're trying to move. But what if you're the one trying to move the excavator? On January 7th of 2016, a group of workers had to move an excavator off the job site. But instead of loading it onto a flatbed or a heavy-duty barge, they tried to get it on a small boat. If there were a single rational person on the job site, they would never have even tried this. These workers were about to learn a valuable lesson in weight distribution. Their plan was doomed from the start. The boat began sinking as soon as the excavator made contact. Watching them try to weigh down the other side of the boat is a little silly. Unless those workers combine to weigh several tons, they're not solving anything. Imagine what the foreman thought after leaving these guys to move the machine. He probably came back later in the day, saw an empty job site, and said, "Great job, team." You'd have no idea their excavator was at the bottom of the river. Now, when it comes to moving heavy objects with a crane, weight distribution is the name of the game. You need enough counterweight on the backside to hold whatever you're trying to move. Distance and height are also crucial factors. That's why it's easier to hold something above your head than out in front of your chest. Unfortunately for this crane operator, he learned that lesson the extra hard way. Now let's watch that again. This time, keep your eye on the crane's cab instead of the falling bulldozer. Once it begins tipping, the driver hops out at the last possible second. Thankfully, everyone walked away from this workplace accident unscathed. According to Indeed, essential crane operator skills include physics, mathematics, and a keen understanding of safety protocols. I think it's safe to say that this operator possessed none of those things. He won't be getting any interviews anytime soon. Boksburg, South Africa is a small city just outside of Johannesburg. It's home to about 260,000 people and a group of guys who don't know how to safely remove a tree. As the saying goes, it's better to work smarter, not harder. That said, there's a fine line between smart and lazy. On March 1st of 2008, these guys arrived to take down a large palm tree. They wanted to do this as quickly as possible, so they backed someone's pickup in the tree's path to catch it. This is what happens when people don't question somebody's bad idea. And we're thinking the guy in the tan bucket hat owns the truck. He seems to be walking around like a guy in charge. Now he's just lucky he got out of the truck before the tree fell. Commenters on Reddit were quick to notice the fence in front of the pickup. Did he plan on backing out with a massive palm tree in the bed? A palm tree's weight varies by species. Some only weigh about 100 pounds per trunk foot. Others get as heavy as 500 or 1,000 pounds per trunk foot. That's to say, a 10-foot palm tree could easily weigh 10,000 pounds. We'll assume that this was one of the heavier ones. Shipping containers make the world go round. It's estimated that about 80% of all goods travel across the sea at some point. Between 1980 and 2022, the deadweight tonnage of container ships exploded from 11 million metric tons to about 293 million metric tons. Mistakes are bound to happen when you have that many containers working on ultra-tight schedules. Take this dock accident that occurred on January 1st of 2016. Someone must have forgotten to lock the container in place. Thankfully, everyone got out of the way before the 20-foot box fell. From the sound of it, the container was empty when it hit the ground. Still, an empty 20-foot container can weigh between 4,000 and 4,800 pounds. Our next shipping container debacle comes from the Port of Los Angeles, one of the busiest ports in the world. In 2022, 9.9 million TEUs, or 20-foot equivalent units, moved through the port. That's actually down 7% compared to 2021. On May 9th of 2014, workers at the LA port hit a serious snag when one of their loading cranes tipped over, causing a costly chain reaction. Unfortunately, the clip doesn't include the moment everything collapsed, so we'll just have to speculate. You can see where a container is still attached to the top of the crane. The operator either tried to place it on top or take it down. Either way, the crane fell forward, knocking everything over like a row of dominoes. With the help of two other cranes, the workers are able to right the ship. Then, everybody moves in perfect unison to get away from the collapsed tower. They finally get the box on the ground, but now they have a dozen others to deal with. One should never underestimate the importance of fundamental training exercises in the Navy, particularly when they pertain to safety protocols on a vessel. Take this lifeboat drill, for instance. If something goes haywire and you lose that lifeboat, well, it's not exactly a walk in the park. This is a lesson one crew learned the hard way. Their job was simple: make sure that the crane can hoist the lifeboat and place it in the ocean. Now, while that might sound dull, that all changes when things don't go according to plan. The lifeboat gets close to the crane's peak, and the crew members reach out to grab it. It's almost within their grasp, but not quite. so the crane operator tries to pull it a bit closer. However, things take an unexpected turn when the cables suddenly snap. The boat tumbles back into the water, and the video abruptly cuts off. Fortunately, there was no one on the lifeboat, as this was just a practice run. And we're in the dark about what caused this mayhap, whether it was a human error or some mechanical glitch. Let's just cross our fingers that they won't need that lifeboat for the remainder of their journey. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, then be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.